Hey, what's up, guys? You're still tuned into TBD here on KCSB FM 91.9 Santa Barbara and netnetradio.com Tijuana. We just had a live performance from Saapato, and we're going to talk to Brendan in a sec here, but we have three guests in the studio today, and two of them are KCS buddies. We had Stella in here, who you heard from earlier, and now we have Marina in here. How's it going, Marina?
It's going good.
Go ahead and pull your mic down just a bit so we can hear you a little better. Yeah, talk right into the screen. How's it going?
It's going good.
Sick, dude. I don't know, tell us your name, like what your show's about and stuff.
My name's Marina. My show is called Nardcore Hardcore, Nardcore. It's in the working stages. Basically, it's about Nardcore music. I worked in the area, and I grew up in Oxnard, and I just think it's like a scene with a lot of music and a lot of history, and so I just wanted to create a show about it. And yeah,
that's so cool. Yeah, like Oxnard has like such like a rich history for like punk and hardcore, you know, like
yeah.
I feel like that's like such a great like show topic because you'll have like so much to talk about.
Exactly.
And so much to play.
Yeah, there's like so much history behind it too. Like I don't know, like in the definition of Nardcore is so broad. Like going into it, I was like, oh, this is just gonna be punk. Like this is just punk. But like there's so much more than punk. Like it's like completely grown to be like just a good music scene that's like represented by so many genres.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, dude. And the hardcore scene right now is like so active. Like
Yeah.
there's so many touring bands. Like, you know, that like Bay Area hardcore band, like Big Boy. Okay. I just like, they're like one of my like favorite hardcore bands right now. And like, I just saw them play like in downtown Oxnard at the CFF.
Really?
Yeah. And like the hardcore scene is just like way more popular than like anything I'll ever promote, like, which is wild. And like, it's crazy that it's happening like all in Oxnard right now, you know?
No, and that's what I love about it. It's like, I don't know, like I now work in LA, and it feels like, I don't know, I hate like not everything is in LA. Like there's stuff everywhere else too, you know?
Oh,
And
definitely.
so,
Yeah. Like once you get into like the local music, it's like you start
Yeah.
finding out like, you know, what's cool like in your area, you know? Like,
Exactly. And that's why I like the hardcore scene in like Oxnard, because it just feels like, I don't know, it just feels like much more like organic to me, just because it's like it comes from people who are like really care about what they do, and it's like,
and it's sick because they're all just like you and me, you know?
yeah,
What I mean?
exactly. And it's like, I don't know, it feels like much more real, and that's what I like about it.
Cool. Well, thanks, Marina. It's cool to have you as a KCS buddy, and it's like, I can't wait to see how your show develops.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. How's it going, Brendan?
Very well.
We got Brendan with his project Saapato here in the studio. How was your live performance? It sounded really good in here.
It was good. It's really nice to be back in a radio station.
Yeah.
Like I was telling you earlier, I used to do this, so it's
Mhm.
cool. I used to host a lot of different bands that would come through on tour, so
So cool.
funny to be on the other side of the table.
Yeah, right? Now you're the
Yeah.
touring artist, dude.
Yeah.
That's sick. So, where are you on tour from?
So I live in upstate New York, like 2 hours north of the city.
Cool.
And I did 2 dates in Austin, Texas,
Uh-huh.
which is where Matthew, who runs Oral Canyon,
Oh,
lives.
nice. Yeah, sick.
So that was sort of why I planned the tour, because I wanted to get to meet him and thank him for putting out the record. And then,
Yeah.
you know, there's so much of this sort of music out here that
In California or just West Coast in general?
yeah, both. I mean,
Yeah.
LA for sure, with like leading
LA's like
records. and
yeah.
feels like floating and everything going on out
Mhm.
there. So, I started looking at, you know, doing a show or two, and then I realized like, oh, I have some family and friends out here I haven't seen in a while, and I ended up booking like a bunch of shows, which I've been laughing about
Mhm.
with friends. I feel like this is like the only place in the country where you could play like a week-long ambient tour in one city.
Yeah,
It's
for
insane.
sure.
But yeah, so doing I think I have 5 more shows in LA and Joshua Tree area,
Sick,
and
dude.
Ventura tonight, and then 3 shows in Portland.
Nice.
Yeah, very excited. I've never played out further than St. Louis, so this is like a whole new thing.
Whole new world, dude.
Yeah, it's great.
When you were in Texas, did you get to like check out like any Full Spectrum shows or anything? I don't know if there was any happening, but
I was there 2 nights, and I played both nights, so I was kind of like strapped. But I did get to play Memermo Monday, which is this thing they have in Austin. It's like a weekly experimental music night.
oh, that's pretty cool.
And a lot of the time it's locals just coming out and like shedding new material, testing out different stuff. And then sometimes they host touring acts. And it's run by this woman, Melissa Seeley. And
Oh, cool.
it's incredible. Yeah, it's a really, really great program, and everything's archived. So, yeah.
That sounds sick.
Very jealous that people out there have that.
Yeah, I went to Austin like in February, but I didn't get to check out any of the stuff that I liked. I went for like a friend's birthday, but I definitely want to go back and like, I don't know, check out the music scene and stuff.
Yeah.
And, but anyways, dude, I don't know. Do you just want to talk like a little bit about like your music project and stuff like
Sure.
that? Like,
yeah, let's do it.
Cool, dude. So, I don't know, Saapato, how'd you start it? I guess we could start too. Like, how did you get into ambient music? Like, were you playing in bands before, or like?
Yeah, so I played in like a ton of bands, but I've always listened to more ambient than anything else, really, I guess. My dad studied with Herb Deutsch, who like helped Robert Moog make the synthesizer.
Oh, that's pretty wild.
So
yeah,
since I was a kid, like my dad was playing like Jean-Michel Jarre and like Wendy Carlos and all sorts of stuff in the house, and like Clara Rockmore and Leon Theremin. So
that's insane.
Yeah, I was like very much exposed to electronic music. My dad, like, you know, taught me Pro Tools when I was like a kid. Not that I remembered any of it. I was still pretty bad with Pro Tools. But yeah, I think it was just like exposure through him. And then it was funny because it was a lot of like the early electronic stuff. But then I didn't really find Eno until like high school. And then I just kind of fell down the rabbit hole of like contemporary ambient stuff. My understanding, like that last song we played was one of the dudes from Tangerine Dream.
Oh wow, Edgar Froese.
Yeah, okay. And that album like inspired David Bowie. Said it like inspired him to do the Berlin trilogy. So there were like crazy. All this old stuff that I knew, and then I don't even know what some of the first like contemporary ambient new age stuff I started listening to, and I was like, oh wow, like this is still very much a thing. And I didn't ever really make it for a long time until I guess I started this project in like 2018 or so.
Yeah.
But
that's cool.
Yeah. It's always like been around for sure. I guess I just never really thought seeing myself fit into it, like making it, it was much more of like a listening thing.
So I was at a hardcore show, actually, the one I was just talking about with Marina, with Big Boy and stuff at CFF. And Ian McPhee is playing tonight, but he also plays in this hardcore band called Ceramic.
Awesome.
And so he knows all like the hardcore people, and like one of the people there was just like, Ian, dude, like your stuff is so weird. Like how do you like, what's the appeal of like noise? And Ian's like, well, I don't really do noise. I do ambient, like I guess you could call it. And the kid's like, well, what's the appeal of that? Like, you know, like with hardcore music, you can like get rowdy and like jump around, and like you can like relate to like the music and stuff. And I was kind of just like, well, I feel like you can relate to ambient too. It's just like in a different way than like what hardcore is. But I don't know, what's like your like the appeal of ambient like to you?
Well, I guess besides just loving the way that it sounds, I really like it because it will like, it complements tasks that normally are like a chore, like doing dishes and laundry and stuff like that, or even driving. Just being able to do like deeper listening of like a more quiet record sort of like brings me into the task that I'm doing, which I really like.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, make something annoying kind of pleasurable, or at least calming. So that's a big part of it, I think, for me. Like I do a lot of listening when I cook, and when I do chores. Yeah.
Cool, dude. Yeah, ambient is like very like calming, and I don't know. I really like listening to ambient when I'm like driving through like the wilderness or something like that. I feel like it's like such a good like way to like appreciate what's around you too, because you don't really have to like focus on much. Like it's just like really beautiful sounds to kind of like accompany you on like whatever journey you're on or whatever, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I live like in the middle of the woods, so I am constantly,
you know what I mean?
Just like sitting on my deck listening to ambient music. And
it's funny too, because like I go backpacking a lot with like my friends, and like we'll always just be like chilling there, and there'll be people passing us, and we'll be at the camp, and my friends will be like, yo, put on that like weird spacey stuff like you always play. And so I'll just like have that playing there, and like we'll just be like laying there or whatever, and people are just walking by, and I'm like, these people probably think we're like so weird, just like jamming to like this like these soundscapes, you know what I mean?
That's what's up.
But it's like a good time, you know what I mean? Like it's such a good Anyways, so you just released a new tape, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
New
On,
tape on Oral Canyon.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you just want to talk about like what Oral Canyon is and like?
Sure. Yeah. Oral Canyon's this really, really cool kind of like cosmic American label out of Austin. It's run by this guy, Matthew. He's a huge sweetheart. And it's just a lot of ambient Americana crossover stuff. So there's a lot of like fingerpick guitar, minimalist guitar stuff, and a lot of more, you know, zoner, spacey stuff. But yeah, I really love it because I love classic country and Americana music, and I also love,
that's like what your playlist was.
Yeah,
it was just all like classic country and ambient, like new age stuff. Like
yeah, for sure. It's like, I don't know. I think they really do pair well together, even though they're kind of like an unlikely duo. But yeah, I sent this record to Matthew, and he was into it and gracious enough to put it out for me. So I'm really glad. It's called Somewhere Else, and yeah, it just came out on the 3rd.
What was it about? Was there like a running theme, or was it kind of just like stuff you had been making?
Sort of, yeah.
Compiled?
Yeah, I'd been working on a couple of the pieces for a while, and then what really, like, you know, I guess defined the mission of the album or whatever.
Yeah.
I did a residency with the National Park Service.
In Alaska, right?
Well, yes, but before that, I did it in Fire Island, which was like last September.
Where's that at?
It's a barrier island of New York, so it's like just a stone's throw from the city and Long Island, where I grew up. And yeah, I was in this wilderness area for 2 weeks, just like recording everything that I possibly could.
Yeah.
And then at night, I would compose like synthesizer pieces to go with it. And I came back from that, and I'd never made like such site-specific music before. And then I realized all these other pieces I was working on had like field recordings from like tons of different places I had been from visiting friends. And then I just sort of like leaned into the idea of like, okay, I'm going to make these environments like, ecosystems that couldn't exist because they have like quail from Arizona mixed with like birds from Florida and like just all this stuff that like wouldn't, trying to create this like
sounds that you shouldn't hear in like the same place.
Exactly. But making them work to feel like something organic and natural, even though it's completely synthesized. And then Early Fern, who is an ambient artist I really love, she did the cover, and the cover is like a bunch of different plants that would never be found in the same place too.
Yeah.
So that kind of like ran with it. But yeah, also like the recordings were taken across a large span of years, so there's like the physicality that couldn't exist, but there's also like the time like element where it's like this happened way before this, but now they're together, which I don't know, felt important to me to like create this one moment that's actually like an amalgam of tons of different places and times put together, but now they're their own place because they've been collaged. And like and collage, I guess, is a really important thing for me when I'm making this sort of music. It's totally what informs like how I'm making these pieces. It's never like I know where I'm going when I start. I'm just sort of like
collaging stuff together,
and then I start to put things on top and take things off and put them back, and so actually this album also, I was doing this series in New York called Ambient Brunch, where I would play for like 2 hours while people were like eating lunch at this venue called Baby's All Right.
I've heard of that place. Yeah,
it's a great spot. Sadly, their brunch is canceled, so I can't
that's
do
a bummer.
anymore. But it was a really good brunch too. They had a great menu.
That's sick.
I would play for like 2 hours on the weekend, so I had a lot of time to like do that collaging thing I was just talking about, and then I'd record all of them, and then I'd go home and listen to them and figure out like which ones worked, which ones didn't, and then eventually like assembled. So I've heard these songs across the last like 3 years in like 100 different ways, and it's funny that there's like one version now that people hear, but like in my head, I'm like, it's I forgot this synth isn't on it anymore. Like, that
That's
was
cool.
a big part of it. It was like just playing it live.
Yeah, that's awesome. I guess real briefly, do you want to talk about just like Alaska too?
Yeah, sure. So Alaska residency I did in August was with the State Park Service out there. And I was in this cabin just outside of Juneau. I'd never been there. It was like definitely the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. It was during the salmon run, so there were just millions of fish all over the place.
Cool.
Brought hydrophones, so I got some underwater recordings.
Oh, that's wild.
I haven't even started on that one. The Fire Island record's actually done.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Alaska one I haven't started, but it was incredible just to be in a t-shirt kayaking around icebergs. Like, it was nuts.
Did you see a ton of bears?
Saw 2 bears.
Only
no
2,
grizzlies. And that was fine because I came upon one on a hike and it was probably 30 feet away, just sitting looking at me. And I was like, I'm really glad this isn't a grizzly bear. This is good. This is enough bear content for me.
I was in Alaska a couple years ago at this point. We went 2021 in August or something like that, but we went backpacking in Denali.
Wow. Nice.
It was pretty sick. And there's no trails there, so you kind of just go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The bus just drops you off and they're like, all right, see ya. And you're like, okay, bye. And you just go.
Did you bring a GPS kind of thing?
We didn't, none of us had a formal GPS. We kind of just had a paper map. And then also I had my phone, which I bought a GPS app on it. So
Cool.
that was accurate enough. You
Cool.
know what I mean? For what we were doing.
How long were you out there?
We were backpacking for 4 or 5 days.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
But so we spent 2 days in one area and then walked back to the road and got picked up and then got dropped off in another, because
Cool.
they have quotas on per area, you know what I mean?
Got it.
So we could only be in one area for a certain amount of time before another crew is going to come in. You know what I mean? So we had to be back at the road and then they
Cool.
drop another so anyways, we did that. It was pretty sick. We only saw a bunch of grizzlies and moose and
Cool.
stuff like that while we were on the road, you know what I mean, on the bus.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then we're in the first area that we were at, we hiked up this mountain, and it was just blueberries everywhere, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we found those too when we were out there.
It's
So
insane.
cool.
It was insane. And so we walked up there and there's just all these skulls and antlers and stuff just over there. It's kind of wild. And so we were just picking berries at this one patch that we found was really nice, and we're just laying down, and it was probably these bears' territory, because this mama bear and 2 cubs walk up over the hill, and I'm laying down with my hat over my face, and my friends are just oh my God, Thomas, get up, there's 2 grizzlies, start yelling, and I'm just whoa, what's going on, you know? But the grizzlies, they're running up and then they instantly turned around and just sprinted the other way, thank God. But we had our bear spray ready and everything, but
everyone there seems very chill about it. The main thing
exactly.
is you don't want to surprise the bears.
Exactly.
Told me.
Yeah. But I don't know. It seemed they saw us and they were kind of just oh, not messing with that. Nope. We're out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Come back later.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll get some water over here later or something. But yeah, it was cool, dude. Alaska's really sick.
It's insane. It's so wild.
Yeah, it's it's super wild, dude. I don't know.
Yeah. It's exploding with life, millions of fish, and also crazy that bald eagles there are just normal birds.
Dude, for
They're
sure.
Everywhere.
I followed the Alaska subreddit. Because
Cool.
we also spent 5 days in Anchorage, you know what I mean, to kind of just sightsee around different little fishing towns and stuff like that. And so anyways, I was still sub to it, and I remember I was reading a thread one time where somebody was I'm going to Alaska, where can I find bald eagles? And everybody's the dump. You know what I mean? You'll just see them in scraps,
the hatcheries.
I know. And for us, it's oh my God, a bald eagle, it's insane. But to them, it's kind of just they're just eating scraps. You know what I mean?
It was crazy.
But that's awesome, dude. Well, anyways, I guess we're coming to the end here. We should probably start wrapping up. But where can people keep up with all things Saapato and your tape? Can people still buy copies?
I have 2 left, and I've already got 1 reserved.
Oh.
But yeah, I have 1 copy left, and you can get it tonight at Control Disco.
Let's do it.
In Ventura. But yeah, I my Instagram is just Saapato, Saapato. Bandcamp.saapato.com or saapato.bandcamp. I forget the order, but yeah, you could find all the music there. Also streaming everywhere. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thomas, thanks for having me. Great to meet y'all. good to be back at a radio station. This has been a lot of fun.
And you're going to be on Dub Lab tomorrow, right? Trying out your new radio show?
Yeah. Dub Lab tomorrow from 12 to 2. It's going to be the inaugural, or the maiden voyage of Home on the Strange. So if you like classic country or ambient, tune in. Get
So
a little
sick.
of both.
Dope. And for anybody listening, Dub Lab is super dope, and you're going to love Brendan's show. Whose show are you playing on, by the way?
I don't know.
Okay.
Rachel, the production manager, hooked it up.
Okay, sick.
And I got in touch with her through Keone, Chuck Suhu. who
Oh,
also
dude.
introduced
And
me to you.
Chuck's the homie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck is sick.
Yeah. Playing with him on the 27th with Underwater Garden Ensemble.
Oh, his band is amazing.
Yeah, I can't wait. Love
Legendary. We had them in the studio not too long ago.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Cool. I can't wait to see him. Yeah.
Well, we have one more question here. It's kind of the biggest of the show, and I ask everybody the same question. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So a rat is going to jump into your mouth. Do you want this rat to jump into your mouth head first or butt first, and why?
Is there any sort of stipulation of what happens after that, or that's just like
You kind of like make up your own destiny here, you know?
All
what I
right.
mean?
Yeah. Sure. I think I'm gonna have it go in butt first.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, it would be easy if you went in head first to grab the tail and rip it out. But if its mouth is open and it's scrabbling around, I also feel like if it goes in butt first, its back legs are less like limber than the front legs. And the front legs getting in there are going to tear up my gums. And
Oh,
cheeks.
dude, that's brutal.
So I want the back end first, and then I don't know what happens next, but
Yeah.
I don't want its mouth and its front legs in first. That
I know what
seems
you mean. I feel like you
problematic.
would also be more likely to just hop out right after if it's like butt first too.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's looking out. It's not
Exactly.
looking into my, stomach or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely butt first.
Yeah.
I'm doubling down. It's
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah. That's the way to go.
Most people say that?
It's 50-50, honestly. It's a really good question because you really learn a lot about the person.
What's the rationale for head first?
A lot of people like to bite it off for some reason.
Oh, all right.
I don't
Cool.
know why that's
Cool.
the go-to.
All right.
Oh, a lot of people like to give it a kiss too. That's always like
Okay.
that's one of my favorite answers 'cause it's like, oh, that's nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're giving like its whole entire body a kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'm going butt first. I don't
Dope.
have any interest in kissing or biting the heads off rats.
Yeah. Dope.
Yeah.
What would you guys do? If you had to...
You guys.
I don't want that tail going down my throat. That
That-
does not appeal to me, so I'm gonna say head first.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think I go head first too.
Dope. Also, really good answer. I put you guys on the spot like so quick. I can tell you guys are gonna have like a
Nice.
blossoming radio career. Like, all right. Well, anyways, this TBD here on KCSB 91.9 Santa Barbara and netnetradio.com Tijuana. Live Talk's Demands Remain Unwritten are coming up next, and come to the show at Control tonight. You can DM me at TBD Presents on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll send you the address. It's gonna be a really rad gig. Thanks so much.